Welcome to the Games Revealed podcast, brought to you by Bunny Strike Studios. This is James.
I'm Tyson.
And this is Shagwa.
And we're bringing you another sweet, juicy podcast. This time it's going to be a special, and it's one that is going to be amazing this time. Like we always have a good podcast, but this one's going to be fun because we're speculating and we're also getting pumped for the games coming out this year.
Yeah, starting the new year out, there's been already a lot of announcements out there. Games releasing, some rumors, some, who knows if it's even a rumor, but people are talking about it, and so we want to talk about it as well.
Rumors
and if we have a little extra time at the end, we'll get into some stuff that is just hearsay, that we hope is true, but that'll depend on how much we geek out about the stuff we're going to talk about in between here.
Exactly.
But the one thing I wanted to start us off with is, really we didn't see the new consoles drop till basically the end of this last year, so pretty much we're starting off the new year with these new consoles: PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and Series S, and a rumor that there may be a Switch Pro coming this year. So what do you guys think about that? Like, I've been lucky enough to get my hands on the PS5, and I am loving it. I honestly was a little underwhelmed because it's just like you're playing your games on a console. It's the same as it always is. But then seeing the difference as I've moved from PlayStation 4 to PlayStation 5, I've actually been pretty impressed with it. So I'm actually looking forward to, as we get deeper into the development cycle of the consoles and the games really start to push the limits, I'm pretty hyped about it.
I'm definitely pumped about the Switch Pro. I'm all about that Switch life.
I think that's my upcoming one for me is I'm excited for the Switch Pro.
Yeah, I'm all about that portable gaming, and I love the fact that the regular Switch can play The Witcher, and I know I've said it a billion times. And the Pro hopefully will be able to unlock more of what we can play on the go.
Maybe
and
it can play Cyberpunk.
Oh, well, it plays it right now via if you hack it.
Yeah.
If you hack it, it'll run it, but who knows how smooth.
I've seen the PS1 mod, so I think we'll be good.
I've seen the Atari mod, so.
Yeah.
My one thing with the Switch Pro is it going to be different enough that I'm going to want to spend money on it? Tyson knows, I don't know if I've told James about this, but I love the Switch because it's basically become like the RPG hub, which is my favorite genre of game. And I can take it with me when I go on vacation and have all my favorite games there. But is the Switch Pro going to offer enough new features that I'm going to want to spend the money to upgrade? And that's the question. So we'll see. Know, but I mean, right now we don't even know if it's actually coming. But considering that it's the 35th anniversary for Zelda and Breath of the Wild 2 is speculated to come out this year, that would sell a lot of consoles. So I kind of think that it is going to happen.
Well, I got to get my daughter a present anyway, and that's how I get them gifts, is I give them my old consoles and get me the new ones. So either way, I'm getting it.
That's a brilliant way to do it. It really is. I wish I had stuff like that.
Yeah, that is the move. I got to get me kids now so I can pawn my old stuff onto them.
It's great. Now we all, it's an easy way to play together now.
Since I'm the PC guy, I'm all about the performance. And so if you can give me something that looks better, I'll buy it. And I like the Switch more than... I think right now I like it a little bit more than my PlayStation, even though if you exclusives wise, that's why I go to PlayStation, because they have really good exclusives. But it's like Switch, let's say if there's no such thing as exclusives, I'd be PC, Switch on the go. I love those combos so much. And the Xbox I'm actually more excited for as a system than PlayStation, but PlayStation has the exclusives, but maybe not anymore.
Maybe not anymore, yeah, and that's part of our rumor mill.
Yeah, and so, yeah, it's going to be an interesting year for sure. I think COVID's going to push off a lot of games, and so these new systems, I think are just going to have kind of a rough start with some of the new games coming out, just because I don't think as many, because even a lot on our list is just TBA, to be announced, and so...
Yeah.
And with a rocky launch like Cyberpunk, people are going to be afraid potentially to release too. And so it's going to be a good year for gaming, but a very unsure when things are going to come out. If you're going to get enough games for these new systems, I don't know, but at least they play the old games better. And that's where I think they kind of killed it.
Yeah.
Yep. And I'll say we're going through the growing pains of the new consoles over these last 2 months. So I think as we chunk into this first year, it'll smooth out and it'll be awesome. And we do have a lot of in my opinion, great games lined up. 2021 is, at least game-wise, looking to blow 2020 out of the water. So thank you, COVID, for that.
Yeah, especially with what's already been announced with like hard dates. Yeah, 2021 should have some solid games. Even if it's not a ton of them, what's already been announced as releasing this year should keep us busy for the year, honestly. It's very, very exciting.
Oh, yeah. A lot of good stuff.
Should've
Speaking
moved
of good
us out.
things, there's a new game coming out.
Oh, yeah?
Leisure Suit Larry.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, it's
Oh, okay. I was going to say when, in 2021?
2020-21.
yeah.
Yeah, 2021.
No, it's
Guilty.
good. No, I think this is at the top. I don't know about for Shag, but this is at the top of a lot of the people I know's list is the new Resident Evil. Resident Evil. It's the Resident Evil Village 9, I believe. It's Resident Evil 9. 8.
8.
Yep.
What is it?
Vil
Yeah,
8. VII.
if I can read.
Ocho, because the last one was 7.
No, yeah. What am I thinking of 9? I don't know. There's something that's okay.
Probably
that-
Breath of
Because
the
you're that
Wild.
excited. You're like, I'm excited for 8 and I'm excited for 9.
so yeah, Resident Evil 8, The Village.
Yeah. Village, honestly, it's looking incredible. We were talking about this earlier, and I love the direction that Resident Evil's going. I like that they're remastering the older stuff, which gives us a nice, crisper game experience in those game worlds. But I like that we're getting these new first-person experiences, because honestly, that's what I like, is the horror that this universe brings.
Yeah.
And I think these newer games with Resident Evil 7 and now with 8 are really delivering that true horror experience that I think the first one's delivered for the time. Nowadays, maybe not so scary, but for the time, very scary games. And that's what I like that they're bringing
That's
back.
where they kill it. They're
Yeah.
killing it because they're able to they produce as much content as you can. Make sure it's good though. And that's one of the things that like these new like old school publishers, I guess, into the new world, or this age now. It's not about bringing good content. They just bring as much as they can to milk it. With the Resident Evils, I really feel like the remasters are true to the old ones. The new games coming out are fresh and different. And even with, I was a little worried when I saw 8. I'm like, oh, it looks like another 7. But it looks very gritty in a very different way in Villages. It feels like Resident Evil 4 in the Resident Evil 7 world, which Resident Evil 7 already kind of looked like that in some ways. It had that village, and that village reminds me of Resident Evil 4. And it was the trailer that we're talking about, and maybe we'll throw some trailers and stuff for all this stuff in our notes. But
Yeah, we'll throw them on the Discord in the podcast channel. And, Or
Join the Discord.
Is that a public channel, James? The podcast one?
yeah, I'll throw that in the notes too for the podcast, and
Perfect.
we'll get to a lot more stuff with what's coming up for this year, because you guys, the bunny crowd out there, you're gonna love what we have coming for you.
Oh, yeah.
So I gotta
Very
say,
good
my
shit.
excitement for Resident Evil 8, I'm pumped to finally be excited about a Resident Evil again, because it kind of felt like they were going less horror and more spooky for the kind of middle games with a little bit of a sci-fi vibe, and it just kind of like, it didn't kill it for me. They were still fun games, but it lost that like special spark that it had in the early days. But with 7, they started to kind of get back on course, and it might just be me, but it seems like 7 and 8 especially have kind of a like an influence from the Rob Zombie horror movies. Just a lot, like James was saying, gritty and much more focused on really trying to creep you out and not just getting weird with the story. So I actually am legitimately excited for this. And unlike 7 looked a little janky to me, which is why I never really was pumped for that one.
Wait,
But
you
the
never
graphics on
played
8
7?
look amazing.
Yeah,
No, I watched you
cut
play
the
it, so
line.
I didn't need to play it.
Cut the line.
Okay, we're cutting Shag off now. You can't hear him now. I cut his line.
Get him, man. No,
No,
I'm surprised.
I was
I'm
living with
surprised.
Tyson at the time, and I was able to watch him play through the entire thing. So it was better than I thought it was going to be, but I also didn't see a need to play it after having witnessed the whole thing. So.
Yeah, and he saw it all repeated quickly. I'm pretty sure I played that shit back to back like 3 times. I love New Game
think I
Plus, man. I'm a sucker for that.
Played it twice because the new game plus is good. Resident Evil does a good job with new
solid.
plus.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I
no,
love
they're
it.
just more Resident Evil. It's one of my favorite franchises.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like because they were deviating, even though I still don't mind 6 and 5, too much, they're definitely at the bottom of my list. And if they kept on going that route, I probably would have gotten bored with the series. But they really did rebound. They did a good job.
Yeah.
This is what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. I'm not claiming that I ever beat them all or played them all. I didn't like the tank controls. I loved that they brought third person in. But when 6 was released, I bought it and returned it that day at a loss because GameStop was not taking them back for full refund. So I took it at a loss, but I was happy with it because that was a garbage game. I loved 4. 5 was okay. 6, meh. Not for me. So I love that 7 picks up in a different direction, first person. It's a new experience, which I was wary of to begin with, but I love the direction they're going with it. So one that I'm not so pumped about, though, Final Fantasy. What is this?
And
16?
this is my
Terrible.
hype train for the year. I am so pumped about this game. I do want to say, though, what you said about Resident Evil, I reflect all those same feelings for each of those games. But anywho, Final Fantasy 16, guys, I am so pumped. It's got mother crystals, icons, which are basically your summons from the old games, and then it's focused around these dudes called dominants, which are basically the chosen ones of these icons or these big scary monsters. It looks like it brings in a little bit of that Final Fantasy 12 style where there's going to be warring factions and nations, also a little reminiscent of Type 0. But the combat style is Final Fantasy 15, except this time it actually looks like it's going to be good. Like 15 was a good game, but let's be real, that combat was lacking. This game looks like it's simplified it more to like a Devil May Cry style, giving you a little more like combo focus and just less of that weird Kingdom Hearts style that Final Fantasy 15 had. So I'm excited. The combat looks cool. The graphics look amazing. And it looks like they're trying to bring it into a more, still a fantasy game, but a little more like real world with like the period and how everyone dresses, hierarchy and stuff like that, classes, different things like that. It looks great. And I'm super excited about it. Unfortunately, this one, as far as I know, does not have an actual, even a speculated release date. So it's a to be determined. But I might be the only one here that's excited about it. It's very possible that James could be, but Final Fantasy for me is the ultimate love of my life.
Well, I'll say this much: what would improve that game is some rehaul of that combat system, and if they turned it more like into Dundertale, I think it'd be incredibly successful.
I'm
Undertale.
I'm excited for the game. 15. I actually want to finish it. I started playing it on I think PlayStation, and I got it for this is my life. I get it for PlayStation because it's exclusive at the time, and then they come out with a PC version before I finish it, and I'm like, I want to play it on PC, and I stopped playing it. I don't play it anymore. I like 15. 15 was actually a good game. I mean, if you like boy bands and stuff like that, that's what it felt like. Was a Japanese boy band. But it was fun. At
the same time, you guys should see James's PC game list of games he needs to play. It's disgustingly long. Like once it entered the quad digits, then it became something that might not happen.
All I know is if someone donates enough to the podcast, I will play through all of them in a single year.
Oh my god!
Yeah. But we'll put off game development for that whole year, so James has time to get through the backlog.
He's gonna need a 3 PC stream setup just so he can run 3 games at the same time. This is like one of those tip-to-tip ratio scenarios. He's gonna have to maximize his gaming potential to get through that list in a year.
Yeah, no, I really would. Yeah, I love Steam. I like Steam sales. Sorry,
speed through the game 10 times.
Yeah, I should say, don't get me wrong, Final Fantasy 15 is a great game, has one of the best bad guys in any Final Fantasy series, and the story's good. But it's the mechanics of the fighting that I just never was excited about.
I agree.
So that with the new one, I'm excited about it in the new one.
I'm excited. This one does look better. This one looks. I was a little hesitant, but I like the way this one's going.
Yeah, and speaking of the new one. New Sons of the Forest. Not to change topics, but we're done with Final Fantasy, and it shall never be talked about on the podcast again. But no, Sons of the Forest, new announcements. It recently made its release date announcement, I believe on the anniversary of the Sons of the Forest release, right? Holy shit, what's going on here?
Oh, I love it.
I missed humor!
James is messing with you so hard, it's so funny.
Where's the humor? I missed it!
I flipped Final Fantasy down again.
Put it on the list again so that we can talk about it.
Son of a bitch. You sons of bitches.
I'm sorry. Go for it.
No, but so I'm very excited. I'm very excited for the Sons of the Forest. Was released. I think it was announced. Release date was announced on the anniversary of when the Forest was released, right? So they kind of kept it on like this anniversary announcement release type of thing. So hopefully we'll be seeing that the end of this year.
Yeah,
But if
I
not
didn't
sooner,
even know that.
I
That's
wish it
really
was
cool.
sooner, but I feel like it'll be the end of the year.
it looks like it's for like it looks like they must be polishing it. I bet you and this is the thing. I bet every game company
Everybody
right
is,
now
learning.
is like, let's make sure we QA test our game extra because of Cyberpunk, because I don't think anyone wants that scandal, especially smaller companies. And so,
I love the saying, be a wise man and learn from the fool, basically, is what the saying is shortened down. And I think every game company is taking the fool and learning quite a lot from this freaking shit show.
and my saying is learn by being the wise man.
Exactly. And that's what all these companies are doing by learning from the fool. They're not going to be the fool learning the hard lessons. They're going to learn from the fool to not repeat that. And I think everyone is taking that note and going, let's shore up everything.
Exactly. But this one looks
Yeah.
like it's ready.
My philosophy's always been learning by burning. So,
Learning by-
but I
It's not
gotta
a
say, like,
bad one.
I'm legitimately excited for Sons of the Forest. In this genre of game, this has been the first Forest was my favorite hands down, and I'm so excited about this one that if the PS5 version is delayed, I will wait for that one. Because I want to get the most out of this game. I love that series,
That's
and
PC.
I hope they keep putting more out. It's just a cool freaking franchise, man.
You can plug your PlayStation 5 controller into the PC and it'd be the same thing.
Nope, you're fired. Get out.
Man.
Get fired.
Oh my hell.
I mean, I guess me and Tyson are gonna be playing it by ourselves then, because that game is
I'll have it
best
on
with a
PC
friend.
too. You know, this is a game I'm happy to buy twice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
easily.
you bought the last one twice, didn't you?
Yeah. So
I think you bought it for me
Yeah,
once
no.
because I wasn't convinced I wanted to play it.
I know.
I liked it so
That's
much
how I
that I
convinced
bought it.
you.
yeah, he bought it for him on Steam, and then he went and turns around, buys it on PlayStation. He's like, I like it enough. I'm getting this shit twice. I've done that with a handful of games. But no, Sons of the Forest, I'm very excited for it. Unfortunately, again, not a solid release date on it. But again, my guess is going to be end of the year on their anniversary, basically.
Oh, the trailer on this game is just
beautiful.
You have to watch it. The snow's beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Everything about this, chopping the wood is easier, making your base is easier. Everything about this, they really did do a good job of like what you should do in a sequel.
Oh,
They
yeah.
improved everything about the original that was good.
And then added.
And added. Yeah, and it really, it feels, I'm so excited to get just hunted and screwed over by these cannibals with you guys. I can't wait until we can join the forest.
Oh, yes. Come join the forest. You'll find me in the forest.
Yeah, and maybe by then we'll have a little bit of a view party. We'll have a view party for that one.
Yeah, that'd be sick. Very exciting.
So, another exciting one. And this is one where, like, I think I am more excited for Sons of the Forest in the sense I really, well, I don't know. Because I have seen a trailer for the Back for Blood is the next game. I've seen a trailer for it recently, and it got me super pumped for it. Before I saw the trailer, I was like, okay, this looks really good. I'm excited. But yeah, this game is definitely looks much better after you see that trailer. It's some of the alpha, and it's essentially a spiritual. Well, it's not. It's a successor to Left 4 Dead. It's by the same company that did it before they split off with Valve. It's Turtle Rock, and it really does. It feels like a much more mature version of Left 4 Dead, where Left 4 Dead has a lot of good stuff. But you can when you go back and play, we have a podcast on it. We talk about that. But it feels a little, simple,
Dated.
a little too simple. And the graphics hold up. That's the thing with the Source engine. The graphics hold up actually pretty well. It just feels dated, which that is always part of the graphics. But Back 4 Blood graphics look amazing.
Oh, the gun animations alone look so interesting.
Like Counter-Strike meets Left 4 Dead is what it feels like, because there's also like some buying.
Yeah.
It just adds some more depth to it that I think Left 4 Dead was very much missing, in that this will be more replayable, I feel like.
Yep. I just love
Yeah,
that
I
it
could
was
see that because horde games for me, like they're super fun, but for a little bit. They're the types of games that I'd prefer to rent if we still had blockbusters. Just because after you've experienced the horde enough times, it just kind of is that forevermore, and then I just don't care to go back. But I haven't seen the trailer for this one. I'm gonna check this out. It actually sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, it looks dope. I just love that it was Left for Dead, and just like what that means, you're Left for Dead, but now you're Back for Blood.
Yeah, they do a good job with their titles.
I love it. Just when that hit me, I was just like, solid title choice.
Yeah, so with this game and Shag, these types of games might not be for you, but you know, it's the whole going through with a friend, being repetitive, shooting, and being able to do it on harder difficulties and stuff. It's the replayability is about going through and making it just because the Left 4 Dead had a director, so every time you went through, it was just a little different. I wonder how they're going to do that with this. But if I can get, because I got a good probably 40 hours out of Left 4 Dead, maybe 50. It's also something I played with Susanna a lot. So it also has like more of an importance to me on an emotional level too. So
yeah, well, plus
that's what's going to keep the marriage going.
As a multiplayer gamer, I'm kind of like a little weak in that department. Like I do like to multiplay when it's convenient for me. So I'm different than a lot of gamers in that regard, where I very much prefer my single player experiences by a long shot.
Yeah, I'm mixed on that. I like both, and I like these types of games for multiplayer, like The Forest, where I'm not actually going against another person as much as you're in there with your buddies to survive. I love that. And that's what makes both The Sons of the Forest and Back 4 Blood on the top of my list for the year.
So this next one for me, honestly, I considered even throwing it above Final Fantasy, but I refuse to move off of my biases with Final Fantasy. But as far as like a new IP goes, this game just looks awesome. Bringing a whole bunch of new stuff to the table. I'm excited. It's called Ghostwire Tokyo. The announcement trailer came out a while ago, and it is speculated to be released in 2021, but with no particular portion of the year. So there's no Q1, Q2. It's just 2021. And basically what this looks like is like it has like a Silent Hills vibe to it, but it's like a modernized ghost game with the Japanese flair. You know how they are with telling ghost stories. So there's a lot of different types of ghosts, and it seems really cool, really creepy. The vibe looks excellent, but on top of that, like you actually get to like exorcise the ghosts, and not like in the traditional hold the holy cross out and splash some water on it way. Like you have like your spiritual energy and stuff, and you're more Japanese theme basically, but it kind of looks like an action game, like a first-person action game where you actually get to fight the ghosts, but it still has those creepy moments and things like walking in front of you, like kind of like Fear did, where you got those like weird, just like what's happening right now.
I honestly have never, even when looking up games and seeing what's coming out, I don't think I saw this one at all.
You saw the trailer with me though, didn't you?
Who are you? What year is it?
What year is it? I agree with you, Shag. I think this looks really exciting. It's very much heavy Japanese. There's a lot of Japanese horror anime out there, and it's and it's based off of their culture, and it's really fascinating. And this feels like it goes in that line, and that's a vein that we really haven't hit. So if they can do like a AAA title kind of in this vein, I think it will be a killer hit this year. Because like Ghost of Tsushima was a killer one last year. We don't have a lot of samurai that are good.
Well, and this one's cool too because it looks like that Silent Hills vibe with the modernization. I say Silent Hills as in the one that was supposed to be made by Kojima, but it also has a little bit of that Persona thing going on where it's like the person can see between like the normal world and the ghost world that you're playing as, which is a very Persona-esque type of thing. But I gotta say, like the trailer for this, for what it looks like it'll bring to the table, I honestly think this could be a Game of the Year contender. So I'll just leave it at that.
Dang, that's wild. Yeah, that is definitely not one that I heard of, but now listening to it and doing the quick little search that I did while we were talking about it, looks very interesting. I'm pumped about this game, and honestly quite funny with how we ordered our list, because not knowing anything about Ghostwire Tokyo really leads us into our next game, another paranormal game, which is The Medium, and something that I'm pumped about, and which is weird because I'm not normally pumped about these types of games. These seem like very much those mystery discover games, like very story driven, very dialogue driven. I usually don't jump into those, especially when it doesn't seem like there's much combat or anything that I can do to kind of be more offensive or even defensive in that manner. But with where this one got me was it's patented. This company did it. They patented this dual screen story where you play as, guess what, a medium. And you can communicate with the spirit world and astral project and things like that. And when you do those things and you're communicating with these spirits, it splits you into these two screens. And in your spirit realm, when you're talking with these things, it's the same condition. Like if you're in a building, it's the same condition that building was in when that child died or that person died. And then your real person is still walking throughout that. And then there's times where you might have to go up a set of staircase where it's broken in the real world but still intact in the old world. So that's not somewhere you can get to solve this mystery. You got to kind of find that, and then utilizing your astral projection help yourself in the real world move throughout the level. So it was really wild to see that in that split screen and just see the difference of what it was in the real world and then seeing what that spirit world looked like. It was honestly super creepy. And the girl alone in the gameplay video that I watched, there's a 14-minute gameplay, so creepy. And she's nice. She's very friendly.
The nice ghosts are creepy. Imagine what the not so nice ones are like.
Yeah, so I can only imagine what's going on in there. Very pumped about that. And that comes out super soon. Comes out in 21 days, January 28th of this year. The medium comes out. I can't wait for that one.
This game reminds me of Alan Wake a little bit, and that's what I'll play if it has a good story and it's a story like, because I like horror, I like, you know, mysterious or supernatural. I like that type of stuff. So if it's interesting enough in that realm, and this one is, I will definitely play it. And this is one that I'm for the most part excited for, but because it's
so new,
it's so new. I got to see more, and it's popping up a little too soon on my radar, but I think I will play it for sure.
Yeah, I think I read about it yesterday or maybe this morning. I sent that to you guys or something, but pretty wild. It was recent.
Yeah, and I gotta say, for me, this genre, I agree with James, but for me, it's very much on how it's done, because there's just the tropish, garbage way that horror's always been done. But then there's the really cool, innovative, creative ways where people really put effort into making it creepy. And when Tyson brought this one up, I was actually surprised at how quickly I was excited about it. And one of the things that caught me by surprise is, not to compare it to the game, but it seems like you use that split screen to solve some puzzles where you might get stuck in the real world and have to move in the spirit world. And it kind of reminds me of Prince of Persia in the puzzle solving regard. So I'm excited about that because I love the Prince of Persia series. I love most puzzle games that are, that mix the action and the puzzles together. With this one being more of like a, what do you call that? Like discovery and puzzle, but still, it looks really cool.
Yeah, like
I'm actually very excited about it.
Mystery puzzle horror, because I forgot to mention you are solving puzzles and figuring out how to maneuver and problem solve throughout the game, and that seems to be the majority of the fun.
This is categorized as a pants shitter puzzle solver.
Categorized as shit. I mean, a pant shitter.
that's the category for this one. It's just
James is not. He's not looking forward to this game.
No, I am looking forward to it.
No, yeah,
this is categorized as a garbage fire.
Later. No, but quite. I mean, it really is out of my category of gaming and my likes, but I'm pumped.
That's why I was surprised because it is kind of out of your realm.
Oh,
but
that does remind me. Just a quick shout out. I see some similarities to this to a game I'm playing on the Switch right now called White Light, which is kind of a noir ghost story. And guys, check it out. It's a dope indie game and actually surprisingly creepy for the graphic style they chose.
You got to be over 18 to consume White Lightning.
Drink White Lightning while playing White Light. It's recommended.
Speaking of ads, we have an ad coming up just for you. This is tailor-made, and please listen. And we're back. Little cleanup.
And shake it off now that we've Taylor Swifted you. I mean, tailor-made you.
Oh my goodness.
Just a little cleanup. Back for Blood comes out June 22nd. I forgot to mention that. Just wanted you to know. It's coming up soonish. At least it's in the first half of the year.
3 games ago,
I know. I forgot to mention it.
No, I appreciate the callback, man. That's you sit here and you get excited about a game as a listener. You're like, when's it coming? Is it coming?
Hey, so, now what's going to be more memorable is when Back for Blood releases.
Yeah, you're going to remember it now, and that's what I want because
listeners are only going to walk away with that date.
Yeah, maybe they'll be able to play with us at one point.
Oh yeah.
We'll need a fourth.
We'll just have some ghost noises of June 22nd.
Oh my god,
June 22nd.
Why ghost noises? Why that?
Just throughout the whole podcast, just clip that and just post it in there.
Scary,
and because then it's subliminal messaging, so everyone will play your favorite game.
Also coming out in June.
Yeah, and it's not supposed to. That's the thing. I think it was supposed to come out like in March. And I don't know why they pushed it back because it's already a complete game. Mass Effect Legendary Edition. This takes the first 3 Mass Effects and remasters it. It's not a remake. It's just a remaster where they take the HD. They go and make the textures more HD or Ultra HD or whatever it is these days. And they improve, I believe, a couple of portions of it. I'm hoping that they improve the gameplay in the first one. That's the only, this is, if you're listening to me, BioWare, the only thing you really need to do to improve Mass Effect is to improve make the first one gameplay
like the other two
first. Feel like the second or third one. If you do that, perfect. Because even the first part's kind of boring, but if you could at least have better gunplay in it, it would be better. And so I know this is not a new game, but I'm so amped because I've been wanting to play Mass Effect again, and I almost went and started playing it last year, and I'm like, well. There's rumors coming away. Rumors are coming out that there's going to be a remaster, and sure enough, there was, and I'm pumped.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah, plus, I like seeing it all come to a nice, easy collection in one place. Where like games like this that are memorable from so far back, it's awesome to go back and replay them, and how convenient to be able to do it on your new systems or even your last gen systems. So I'm legitimately excited for that as well.
Oh, now I'm curious, what platforms does this come out for?
I don't know, but I can't wait to not play it.
Well, we're gonna have a podcast hopefully on at least the first one. I'd love to have a podcast on Mass Effect this year.
Yeah, I can't wait to shit all over it in that podcast.
You're gonna play it and you're gonna be converting like there's nothing else in this world besides Mass Effect. There's just nothing else. It does come out for, this is a weird one. It comes out for PS4, Xbox One, and Windows.
Huh. Nice. That's like one of the only games that's going to release on all 3 platforms.
What are you talking about? What you talking about? Cyberpunk's going to release again this year.
Nah, we'll never see another Cyberpunk.
So, yeah, no, I'm super amped for it. Super amped. I'm more amped for this one than the next game, which probably won't be coming out this year.
Oof, that surprises me. Now, I disagree, James. I think this may come out this year for a couple reasons, but also I disagree because I am hella pumped for this one. Especially, I think it looks better than the first. And this is Breath of the Wild 2, direct sequel to the Switch release game, which was Breath of the Wild. It looks like it has a creepier factor. It looks like it's going to add another layer because Zelda stories are notoriously just really simple. There's not much digging you have to do to understand what's going on. This looks like it's going to add something to it. This one doesn't have a release date, but 2021 is the 35th anniversary of the Zelda series. And with the rumors that a Switch Pro is going to be coming out this year, this would be a console seller. I do believe that Breath of the Wild is still the #1 selling game on the Switch. So they would have heavy incentive if they put the Switch Pro out this year to release that sequel as well. So I'm not saying it's guaranteed it'll come out this year, but considering those two things, I think it's got a good shot.
Yeah.
But, everything's been getting delayed, so.
I could see him selling it and releasing it on the Pro to push consoles. Heck yeah. That's smart.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like Breath of the Wild 2, I like the first one quite a bit. It's not my favorite game. I think you guys like it more than I do, but I definitely recognize it as being a masterpiece, and it's definitely an amazing game. And
cut the line.
Cut the line. It's not. It's bad. It's bad. It's good. No, they did such a good.
Back that life raft.
Shag, cut the line.
They did such a good job with that first one. I think the second one will be definitely, like you say, a console seller. So I think it will come out with the Pro.
Yeah. It'll be nice to see. It'll be interesting to see if it releases this year or see what kind of information comes out. But yeah, a lot of speculation around this one, and a lot of hype. So I'm excited. I'm excited to try it.
I think Tyson and I are both just Zelda fans in general, so it's pretty easy for us to get excited about any Zelda announcement.
Yeah, but before then, give us a Ocarina of Time re-release on Switch.
Please,
gosh damn it.
Both of them. That one and Majora's Mask.
Expect that to always release on any platform you ever have, because you've set that standard. You've released it on every console, I feel like. But anyway, so another one that's coming out this year is one that I don't know really how to feel about. I kind of feel like it's going to be a lot of fun, but what held me off of it to begin with was its name, Deathloop. Doesn't sound interesting or fun at all.
Well, I mean, being in a death loop does not sound fun. So,
well, it just sounds just something about that name, Deathloop. It's just, I don't know. It just seems lazy. I don't know.
What do you do? Like in today's world, there's like hundreds of thousands of game names now.
And I'm not saying it's even bad. I'm not even saying it's bad. But I don't know what it was. Just for me, initially, Deathloop was just like, I'm moving by. Like, this is probably not going to be anything good. But what it is for me, once I actually watched the trailers and started digging into it, is it reminds me a lot about of Dishonored meets Hitman. Or not Hitman, sorry. Get that out of your brain. Dishonored meets Manhunt. If everyone remembers the old Manhunt games, you're a guy that's in an arena basically, and everyone that you run into the game is trying to kill you. That's the same thing here, except for you do get killed, but that's part of the game. And you literally are stuck in this death loop, and the only way to solve the mystery, which again I don't know what the mystery is, maybe it's the death loop itself, but you're trying to figure out why you're there, why these people are killing you, and basically how to stop it all, from what I gather. And just getting better at your skills, better at your powers, better at killing is going to get you further and further in that game. And I like that type of thinking. I really hope it pans out to be that type of thing where you just kind of keep plowing away at it and really getting your timing down and getting more proficient at the levels to kind of keep moving your way through the story. So that's kind of what's got me excited about it, and the supernatural elements of having powers. So I loved Manhunt. I wish they'd release a Manhunt nowadays and actually really deliver what you could do with a Manhunt nowadays on current consoles. It would be amazing. But I think this is probably the closest we'll ever get to a true Manhunt. But I'm pumped for it.
I share Tyson's hesitancy with this one, although I'll say this. It's because of the nature of what they're proposing the premise of this game is. It would be very easy to fall into a super scripted, you don't really have the freedom to explore to find the solutions to the loop. And then it just becomes a repetitive, annoying game. But the other side of that is that it could be an incredibly interesting and innovative concept. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And considering the comparisons that Tyson made with this Dishonored and Manhunt, I mean, there is a lot there to keep me interested. So I'm curious about it. But for me, I think I might wait and see once this releases and how the reaction is to it.
And it might just be because I've been playing a shit ton of Post Void, but yeah, that's probably what it was, because that's like what it is. It's just a death loop.
It reminds me of Hades a little bit. And that one doesn't have like a death loop per se, but when you die, you restart back at the beginning.
Yeah.
And that's how, and then you keep doing that every time you die, and your father just mocks you. That's Hades in a nutshell.
I've almost beat Post Void, so I'm getting there.
Yeah.
Stream's almost up too.
But this death loop, it has the chance of being it's a risky pre-order, I'd say. I'm going to put this down now. If you pre-order this, it's a very risky pre-order, but it has the chance of being a very good game if you just wait. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. I definitely would not pre-order this, though.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to pre-order it, but it's one I'm keeping my eye on, and hopefully it's one that releases and meets my expectations, because I pulled the trigger on too many games, and I'm done pulling the trigger on crappy ones.
Yeah, and honestly, I do wish him well and hope that it is everything that we hope it is, because none of us like to see these games, even if they're not in our genre or our style. It's not cool to see them fail. Like it's cool when you have new and exciting things coming out for everybody. So I do hope that game is awesome, but I gotta say I'm a little leery of it.
And with that said, I probably am not putting a pre-order on a lot of the games that I mentioned. Probably Resident Evil and Sons of the Forest. Those are probably the only ones I'd ever pre-order. Because again, I don't pre-order much unless it's something that I'm super amped about. And those two for me on this list hit that. But the next one might.
Yeah, well, and this is so anything that I'm excited for, I definitely if I get amped enough, I'll pre-order, because with PC, there's a little secret. There's some places that you'll get it like at $10 off on PC as opposed to other places if you pre-order. And so that's, for me, that's an incentive.
Destroy your PCs.
That's why you should be
way
PC.
Way to just flex your PC privilege there, James.
PC.
You got to be a special member to get that, though. You gotta be able to type in Amazon.com.
Amazon
and pre-order.
Yeah. No, but this next one is definitely one that I will actually say this because there's so many good games so far. This is one that I've been excited for a long time. I don't know if I will pre-order, but Stalker 2. I played the first one. It came out, let's say 10 plus years ago. It came out a while ago. And now I'm just thinking, when did it come out? But
crap. Deathloop comes out May 2021.
Oh, that's even worse. You're getting into my game.
Everyone's going to think about Deathloop.
You son of a bitch. So, Stalker 2 does not have an announcement, but it's been in development for a while. They announced it, I believe, 2 years ago. The trailers it really looks like Stalker 1, but with a lot of improvements. Some of the, and I'm a little hesitant at times because I'm like, is this going to be enough? Is there going to be enough different and enough new from the original Stalker? Like with Sons of Forest, you see that, you're like, they did
there's quite a
ton of stuff to improve this.
Quite a lot.
Stalker 2, I'm a little hesitant until I see more gameplay, but what I have seen, there's been some really cool stuff. So I think it might be one of those like really good highs and some mediocre, just mediums kind of good stuff. Maybe not too low, not too many lows like Cyberpunk.
I didn't play Stalker 1, but while watching the trailer with you, those anomalies and just the environment, very eerie, very creepy with still some supernatural elements, but also still harboring like this fear. Like throughout the trailer, there is still like a sense of fear all throughout. And that's what's got me kind of clinked in right there. So we'll see what comes about, but it's got me excited. I didn't play the first one, but it looks really cool. It reminds me of Metro.
Yeah, it's Russian made, and it's very heavily influenced in the Russian world, where you go play through it. At least in the first one, I think they had subtitles, so they're still speaking Russian, like "Здравствуйте, как поживаете," and they're like "Блядь, suka, ти suka."
Swear words.
Buka Pinto.
Trust us, this now turned into an adult-only podcast.
No, but the Russian's good. It is because it is Russian. It's smooth for people that speak Russian. It's good. If you don't, you at least get subtitles. In this one, I'm sure there'll be voices overs though.
Yeah, James speaks Russian, so you can tell, he's very proud of it. For those of you who can sprechen the Russian,
for the motherland.
For the motherland.
Yeah. I actually really like it though when they do the languages in the native tongue and then have subtitles. It just feels more immersive.
Yeah,
but I don't know anything about this game, so I'm gonna have to check this one out post this podcast. But one I'm excited on, and I gotta say up front, guys, there are people saying it's going to come out in 2021. I don't believe that at all because it's still in its code name. This isn't even the title of the game. But Project Athia, or Athia, however you want to pronounce that. Now, the reason I'm excited for this is several years back, I think 4 years, I could be wrong about that, they did a tech demo for something called the Luminous engine that Square was working on. And then they moved that group over into their own studio, basically. So it's like Luminous Studio. And everyone thought that that was going to be the engine that the new Final Fantasy was going to be built on. And I can't remember if Final Fantasy 15 actually did use that engine or not. I think they did. But they thought that the person shown in that tech demo was going to be, it was actually going to be part of the new Final Fantasy. Now it's its own game. So it's a new IP that it's basically Final Fantasy that's not Final Fantasy, which I'm already hooked there. Luminous engine looks incredible. I loved that tech demo, and the trailer for this looks even better. And then here's what I'm really excited. So one of the things to me that makes this game look appealing is playing as this witch or this druid type character. It reminds me of Morrigan from Dragon Age, which was one of the best DLCs for that game, where you have to hunt her down and choose a cool character. So it's cool to see a game that kind of focuses around that type of a character rather than your traditional knights and knights and regular types of heroes. It's someone who's kind of off on their own, doing their own thing. A little bit more like a Viking style almost theme to it, but more fantasy based. So I'm really excited about it. It's a new IP, and I love new IPs. I love when it's something that is a brand new thing. But I highly doubt it's coming out in 2021.
I was gonna say there's not a whole lot on it, and usually if that's the case, especially with a project like this. But if it comes out this year, I'm excited for it because it does look like it's gonna be something very different, and I'm always excited for different.
Yep, and they do have a trailer for it at least, so it is a game. We know that much, but that's about all we know. So I recommend looking it up. Project Athia.
Yeah, I've not heard anything like it, but if it's anything like Final Fantasy, it can go take a hike and kick some rocks. Much like the kicking of rocks you do in Monster Hunter, because you can kick rocks in there.
You can?
In the PSP versions, yeah, you can kick in there.
I like
There's a
how
kick
it's
animation.
the most limited version is the PSP version.
Hey.
You can kick rocks.
Us Monster Hunter fans know us up. So speaking of
How was
kicking
that
rocks,
movie?
James, cut the line.
How's that movie? How was that movie? Was it good?
The line.
The movie I heard was horrible. My son loved it though. I didn't go and see it. I just couldn't bring myself to do it. But no, Monster Hunter Rise, it's coming out for the Switch. And another Monster Hunter game. Most people probably got really into Monster Hunter with Monster Hunter Worlds that released on the consoles recently over the last few years. But this one is, again, very exciting. I love mobile Monster Hunters. It's where I got into them with the PSP and then on the Nintendo Switch. Apparently they were on PS2. I never played them on that console, but I loved that they were portable, and I love what they offer for that portable realm. A really deep game with long-term playability. And on the run, you can go anywhere and have that game and know you've got something fun to play. So this one's got me really excited, and I know my son's going to be really excited when I tell him about it. Hell, he probably already knows about it and has been trying to tell me for weeks. But I'm pumped about it. I can't wait to see what they have in there. And not only do they have the Palicos, but they have the Palamutes is what I think they're calling them, which I hate. I hate that name. I hate the Pal crap. But you get a dog. You finally get a dog in a Monster Hunter.
Yeah. So when I think of Monster Hunter, I've played a few of them, not very long. They're fun. I could definitely see why it's a cult classic. Every time I play one, I'm always like, I'm going to go boot up Harvest Moon for something else. I'm going to go play something where this is actually fun. And
Hey, you would have loved one of the first ones. They had farming in there. You had to go to your farm and harvest your berries. It was a lot of fun. Way better than the Monster Hunter version. Trust me.
Yeah. These are very much action-based farming games, and they're for loot whores and people that love to just grind gear out.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're one of those dudes that just loves to get the top edge gear, the highest of the high, that's a game that you'll love, because that's all that game is get better gear, go kill a bigger thing so you can get better gear so you can go kill a better thing.
Yep.
And they are fun, but they're for a very niche crowd, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, that's all you do. You kill monsters to get their parts to make it better to kill monsters.
it's for those people that are dragons deep inside that has to guard their gold, that has to just gather all that gold and treasure. That's you.
You should
Tyson.
see my inventories in a lot of the Monster Hunters. It's impressive.
I've seen your inventories in every game that we have that has loot or something that drops.
And they're very impressive.
I've seen your
vast.
inventory in your house, and you're a straight up hoarder.
Do you even know how much Magnum ammo I have in Resident Evil 4? It would blow your effing mind. You could run that whole game using nothing but Magnum ammo, and you'd love your life.
And it's a secret. You're supposed to use it.
Broken butterfly? Don't mind if I do.
This is a fact of Tyson's life. If he bought it and it came in a box, that box is folded up and tucked under the stairs.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't matter if it was a box of cereal. Doesn't matter if it was a box of toilet paper.
Hey, if I need to return Lucky Charms, I need to have the box.
Yeah, you need to have the box in pristine condition, nonetheless.
So
Speaking of boxes,
well, very much like how Monster Hunter franchise is a blood-sucking franchise where it just keeps on coming out with more and more that's not different. The Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 is coming out, and they're bloodsuckers, and it looks so good.
terrible.
Emphasis on sucking.
You can suck so much in that game, and it's just, I don't know what it sucks, but you could pretty much reclassify it as a sucking simulator. This game.
Jump off a roof, start sucking. It's great.
Yeah, no,
We just got kicked off of iTunes.
If you can't chew through it, or if you can't chew your food and you have to suck it through a straw, this is the game for you.
Oh my
Vampire Leisure Suit Larry, the sucking
So-
simulator.
I have a question. Have you guys, either of you, played The Masquerade Bloodlines 1, the first one?
Honestly, I thought this was a sequel to Vampire, the one with the Y, and that doesn't look fun at all. I didn't even claim that when it was free on something, because that's how much I don't care about that game.
I hear is pretty divisive on whether or not people like it. The Vampire the Masquerade allegedly was pretty good. I haven't played it, but honestly, anytime I see a vampire game come out, I just wish it was Legacy of Kain. I just want more Legacy of Kain and Soul Reaver.
You love that. You love that franchise.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And since this is not that, like, and it's annoying because I'm holding it against this game that it's not like Blood Omen. So I don't want to play it because it's not Blood Omen and it's not this game's fault.
It's very, you're gonna like it, Shag. I'm pretty sure it's very RPG heavy.
really
It's
looks
very
cool.
story heavy. The first one, I only played a little bit of it because by the time I got my hands on one, it was kind of like there's other games I was playing. It had the unfortunate timing to come out when Half-Life 2, Halo 2, and a couple other like big games came out.
Oh, it's an old game.
Yeah, it came out 2004, and it has a cult following, a massive cult following of suckers, and.
Monster Hunter Rise comes out March 26th. Oh, you. I'm not doing this intentionally, I promise.
Cut the line. Cut the
Cut
line.
the line.
Mark it 0.
And this one, this is probably on the top of a lot of people's hype train because the trailer, the gameplay, it all looks really fun. It's a little weird because when you're, it's first person, but then when you do like some like hand to hand, it'll actually scroll out to like a third person and do the flip and whatnot.
Yeah, you watch them flip over their
Nice.
back and like do this flip and then sweep the leg. It's kind of weird, but it's kind of nice. Like
It's
nice
weird. I
seeing
haven't
it.
decided yet, but to be honest, it's not going to break the game for me. I could see some people maybe getting sick from it, or not getting sick
Break the
because
wrist.
It's just
Walk
odd.
away.
It's an
Just break
odd.
the wrist.
Yeah.
And walk away.
Break the wrist, walk away. It's just weird to see it in that way. Like to suddenly get broken out and do the flip. The running up the wall was really cool. I liked that animation where you go to run up the wall and it goes in third person and you're just climbing it. But in the fighting, it was weird to see, but I was liking it towards the end. But still, it's gonna break immersion for sure.
It's going to break immersion for sure. But this game, and I think one of the reasons it just did such a good job, the original, the first one that is, it did such a good job because you had bloodlines. Bloodline right there. You had different bloodlines. You had different
Were there bloodlines?
factions, different, essentially.
So traits that came down based on how you chose to start out is
I
kind of what
think
you're
you had
saying.
like royalty and like grunt style.
They have,
right? Like
well,
you
they
could
have.
kind
So
of
in the
position
in
yourself.
the first one, they do have like humans are for food. It's very vampire oriented. You've seen these in other.
I've always said
tropes.
humans are for food.
when a vampire gets hungry.
But the other one is like, no, we need to live next, alongside them. They're not just for food. We can take blood bags or whatever. Like and each one of them has crazy people in it. It's a very, because I haven't played enough of it. I've watched some people play it. We should do a
Blade.
podcast on it at some point because I think it would be a fun one to actually go back and visit. Because there's a lot of people that like this game. And
Vampire.
I think this.
Yeah. This is one I should give a try, but I just haven't given myself an excuse to do it yet. And I need one for this. It's it's like when there's a franchise and you're just not sure where you land on it.
Yeah.
Like I love vampires, but it's kind of like zombies. It's kind of been oversaturated, and it makes me a lot more hesitant, even if the game does look good.
But this one came out before, like, I think the whole exhaustion of the vampire craze. And for you, Shag, I think it actually would be one I'd recommend that you play.
Just because you're one of the first jazzercise instructors doesn't mean I give a shit about your jazzercise. No, I do. I am excited for this vampire, but until I make up my mind and play the game, it will forever be known as Vampire Blade Lines.
Blade Lines.
Yeah, because that's what it seems like. It
It
seems like
probably
it's
was
Blade.
influenced by Blade.
I want to be
If
Wesley
Daywalker's
Snipes.
not one of the bloodlines, I'm out.
I call being Ryan Reynolds. He was in the third one.
And this one, we don't know when it comes out. And speaking of we don't know, the unknown, I don't know what this next game is that Shag has on the list.
But he'll bravely default to explaining it.
I will. And Tyson nailed it right on the head. This one I'm actually very excited for. It was a 3DS exclusive game prior, and it had a sequel, but it wasn't a numbered sequel. So there are 2 Bravely Defaults on the 3DS, and this one's going to be coming for the Switch. This is Bravely Default 2. Classic RPG with some twists on the controls, because that's the nature of like Nintendo and the 3DS. They like to just kind of mess around with things you can do with the console itself. So I'm expecting to see some of that with this game as well. But beautiful hand-drawn worlds, fun gameplay, classic RPG elements. I mean, this is right smack in the middle of my wheelhouse for games I love. So I'm very excited about it. I didn't finish the first one, but I loved playing it, and I still need to beat it. They're not easy, but they are fun. But yeah, it's coming out. This one's coming out February 26th, 2021. So pretty soon as well, but it looks like it's only going to be on Switch, which is not surprising as a Nintendo exclusive. They tend to hold on to those pretty tightly.
It's a good call. Good console.
Yeah, and nice to see some more Switch love on here, because most of the stuff that I like on Switch is usually just stuff that's on other consoles. But yeah, maybe I need to dig more into the Switch library and see what's coming out.
Yeah, that's the tough thing for me, is deciding, because I love the Switch so much that I have to sit there and debate which games I'm going to get on the Switch and which ones I need to get on the PlayStation. And a lot of times it comes down to whether or not the graphic style is actually it's going to matter if it looks better on the PlayStation.
Yeah,
but if it's not, like if it should be fine on the Switch, I'll usually default to Switch.
Yeah, I don't care if it looks a little uglier as long as it gives me that functionality.
Yeah, what can I hoard? It's like with The Witcher 3, right? He's like, well, that's a hoarding game. It doesn't matter what it looks like. It will look like a potato, so I'm going to get it for Switch.
Yeah, exactly. All I do is
Let's take
hoard.
a moment
What's
and
my
talk
inventory
about
look
how
like?
genius the controller design of the Switch is. Like, there is not a more comfortable controller design than being able to splay out with one arm over your head and the other one resting on your stomach and still play a game.
That's
like,
how
it
I'm
is
usually
the most
playing it.
comfortable controller design of all time.
Yeah, they've
Now
really
if they could
nailed
just
it.
get it so they fit in your grip a little bit better and didn't slip and slide, then you'd be gold.
I completely disagree with the Switch being the most control.
No,
I don't.
love
I
it.
always play it with as the mobile. I never disconnect anything.
That's where you're missing,
But
bud.
I did get some
You
new
gotta play
controllers.
it
I got
hooked
some
up.
new thicker ones that are. It feels just like a regular controller, so it's
Yeah.
nice now. I
He
fixed
got
the problem.
the new controllers he got are really nice. Do you remember the brand of them or anything?
No,
You guys are going to want to look up some controllers that go to the Switch and just make some decisions. 'Cause
just look up. Just type into Google thick controllers.
thick black
Dummy
controllers.
thick controllers.
But no, they really are. They're comfortable controllers. I was impressed, actually. A little weight to them, but it just adds to the comfortableness.
And so with the game, like the Bravely Default 2, I looked at the first one. It's not quite my style, but if with that style, if it can bring me in with a story or something like that, so I might actually check it out. The first one at the very least.
Yeah.
If it can bring me
For a
in
more
there,
familiar
I will
game
like
that
it.
people would recognize better, it's very similar to Octopath Traveler.
I mean, I've heard of that one. It's still another one I haven't played, but I might look
Yeah.
into it.
I think I'll wait for Bravely Default 3 to come out before I just call this whole franchise a garbage franchise.
Well, and we've covered a few rumors already, like the Switch Pro, but there's a bunch more coming out this year, and much more things that we speculate are coming out this year.
Yeah.
And we'll just lightly touch on some of our favorites that we heard. And really the reason we want to talk about this is to put it out there into the air like the secret, and just hope that these things come true.
No, this is for you, for sure. You, Shag. This is.
Yep.
This,
So the rumor that I threw in here is that Sony. I've heard rumors that Sony is looking to buy from Konami the Silent Hills. I don't know if they're buying the entire franchise or just that new title that Kojima was working on with the PT demo, and the entire Metal Gear franchise. And I really hope that happens, because Konami seems to be wanting to kill that. Although there is a rumor that there's a Metal Gear 6, but without Kojima, it's not Metal Gear in my book. But if Sony buys it, I'm almost positive that they will do everything they can to get Kojima back into the head of that program. And I also really want to see PT materialize as a real game. So Konami, if you're listening and this is a real thing, don't be scrubs, don't be selfish and greedy. Let Sony take it and put the money into it and give us the game we want, since for some reason you decided that it wasn't worth investing in. If it's not worth investing in, give it to someone who thinks it is worth investing in. Nothing against you guys. I love your games. You have great games. But don't let these two series die. Give it to someone who will put the right guy back in charge of it and let it carry on.
I have one thing to say on this. Konami, I have a life hack. PT is selling on the console for thousands of dollars. All you have to do is release the demo for $50, and you'll probably make a couple $1 million off this.
That's going to make my hard drive worthless.
A $5 demo and just make it available again. I guarantee you'd make a profit.
That's going to make my hard drive worthless. Stop giving them ideas.
It's just I don't get how they're like they don't want to make money apparently. So I don't want them to take advantage of people, but people want PT at the very least PT.
Yeah, just the demo. Put it back out there. Quit being assholes.
Yeah, and I'm a huge Metal Gear fan, so I obviously have a huge bias skewed that way. But I'm hoping those rumors are true, and I'm hoping that if it is true, Konami will deliver. Oh yeah. We already talked about the second one, which is the Switch Pro, so I'm just going to skip over that.
Yeah, and we got the Sony PlayStation VR 2. Have you guys played the first one, the PlayStation VR?
I think I tried it once or twice.
Because I have it.
Yeah.
And it was
just the Batman
fun.
game.
Oh, that game was so much fun with it. But Resident Evil 7 is where it was at. That game looked fun. It was just fun with the PlayStation VR. And they did such a good job with the console they had. The PlayStation 4 VR looked very close to what my PC VR setup was at the time. I'm impressed at 720. Very impressed. I think if they can make this a 1080 or hopefully 1440, the PlayStation VR 2 will be a killer.
And it's rumored to be coming out at around $400, so $399.
That's not a bad deal.
Yeah, not too shabby. So.
And if these horror games keep capitalizing on how VR really plays well into that field, they may actually finally convince me to adopt into VR. But
they just need to keep on going.
We'll have to see what games come out.
So Tyson's been waiting this whole time. He's been waiting an hour to talk about this. He's deleting all our notes. Okay, what do you want to talk about?
I deleted my rumors.
What did you want to talk
about? To these rumors. So here's some big ones. These are some big ones. So, and I'm going to go through them real quick, but these are all Xbox related, but they're big. They're big news. One of the rumors that I got through the rumor mill is all non-MMO games. So if it's non-MMO, doesn't count. All non-MMO games, Bethesda ZeniMax titles will be exclusive starting 2021. That's big news. Bethesda's makes Elder Scrolls. That's my shit. Yep. That's my jam.
And my number one response to this is Sony started it with all their exclusives. They buy third-party companies and make exclusives out of them.
Don't justify what Xbox is doing.
All I'm saying is that I think Xbox is doing this because Xbox is losing the console war. They've been losing it for years. And if they want to stay exclusive, and to be honest, I'm defending them because guess what else it's releasing on? PC.
Bananas.
Guess
Nobody
what? A lot of
cares about PCs. Hardly anybody plays PC. Okay, it's proven fact that I made up. The next rumor, Malarkey Town. Okay, the next rumor, Xbox will be dropping. Now this one's very exciting actually, and I hope Sony follows with this one, if it's true. Xbox will be dropping the Xbox Live Gold or rolling it into their Game Pass service. Free-to-play games will not require any subscriptions. That's what it should be. I should be able to play World of Warships without a PSN membership. If it's a free-to-play game, I should be able to play it without anything.
Yeah. That's good clarification because I misread that and thought that the Game Pass wasn't going to have a subscription fee, and I was like, "What? No, that's not what I heard."
No, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I agree. Free-to-play games should be able to be played regardless of whether or not you subscribe to whatever the Plus service is or the Gold service. The only game on PlayStation that I know that does that is Final Fantasy 14, and that's because you're already paying a Square Enix for a subscription to play that game.
You have to edit out so much Final Fantasy talk.
Once again, PC, you're not going to have any issue. Just go buy a PC. Really, this is my number one advice.
PlayStation
Stop buying
consoles.
consoles.
What PC
Stop
stands
buying
for.
PC. Start buying PC because
PlayStation consoles.
You're going to not have to deal with
I'm quarantining because I literally would have strangled you there.
You pay $10 less.
I don't know
why
the
new games.
Sin.
$10 less.
Sinner.
I don't know why he keeps saying not to buy the consoles, and then he says buy PlayStation console. Weird. Next rumor. Several additional titles are launching exclusively to the Xbox ecosystem next year. Some of them being Forza Horizon 5, Starfield, which is a new Bethesda game, I believe, and Wolfenstein 3.
Wolfenstein.
I've never played Forza Horizon. I'm not a big car racing game, but I really liked their 2019 E3 reveal for that, and like the events you could have while you're racing. It really got me excited about the racing game. But seeing that they're really grabbing a lot of these exclusive launch titles, and some of these are big ones like Starfield, freaking Forza Horizon, like those are big titles, and if they're all coming exclusive, Wolfenstein. Excuse me, goodness gracious.
That was the weirdest noise I've ever heard in my life.
No, we're keeping that in. That's what my body thinks about that news.
All I see is exclusive to PC, and even PlayStation is now releasing
PlayStation console. It's so weird.
Sony's releasing so many things to PC also, but not Xbox. This whole war is just making me feel good because I get everything I want.
Yeah.
I have to say this though, because, and this is just my perception of it, right? But it seems weird to me, Xbox's model here. I like it that they're bringing everything into like anything that releases on Xbox will also be on PC and vice versa. All the games are going to come out for all their ecosystem systems. But like at this point, it's like, then why even have the Xbox? Just go back to being a PC game company.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's, I don't mean that in a derogatory way, but it's like most people have a computer of some type, and a lot of people on top of that have a console. It is a much smaller crowd of people that have several consoles.
So
like the direction that they're going, I'm like, how about you? I mean, and I guess it doesn't matter, because for me, I will be picking up these exclusives on PC, because there's no reason for me to buy Xbox, because I know they're coming out on PC.
So my problem is they already have so many users on Xbox and they do Xbox because they like both the brand and they also like the cheap console. They'd lose so much money in the long run, I think, by just alienating them to say, hey, get a PC. That's an extra $1,000.
You'd have to spend a ton of money on a PC to get it to the level that the consoles sell for. Like what you get packed into the budget of a console it would be significantly more pricey to do that same thing on a PC.
I'll do an article someday where it will be a little bit more, but I can get you a PC that will run about as good as a console. I guarantee you in the next year. I'll do an article on it.
But not for the cost is what I'm saying. Like you for sure can, and you can keep it close.
Exactly.
But the advantage to a PC as well is that you can go way beyond what the consoles can do.
I'll write an article because we're going to get into the next, like this is the next rumor, but it's not a rumor because this is what we're doing for the year. I want to talk about what we're doing for the year. So the Games Revealed brand, the Bunny Strike brand, we have a lot of cool projects coming in for the year. And to start it off, I think we want to start doing some streaming. So when we do the games that we play for the podcast, we're going to do some streams so you can watch us. We'll throw links in to where you can find us. Me, I'm on Twitch and I think on YouTube, I'm The Brink. And so it's not very hard to find me, but we'll have through the next few months, we'll have a bunch of information on the streaming and all that. That's going to be very interesting. And so you'll be able to get a little bit more of like, because each one of us obviously has very different tastes and different opinions on all this stuff. So if you have one of us that you like a little bit more on their opinions and stuff, you can ask us questions on the stream and all that stuff. So keep an eye out for that. And then like with the mobile app, we're about to release a new version of the mobile app, and the website has been in the works for 2 months. We have a whole new version of all these. We're going to be having articles, video articles. You can find our podcasts there. You can find quizzes, and we're going to have a lot. We just have so many new features coming out for this stuff, and we have a fun time doing this. And this is a part of the reason we're doing this is to help both, just us to have a living, so we're not doing secondary jobs. So we can do this full time while we actually make a video game, because we've been developing a video game for almost a year now. And anytime that you visit our site, anytime that you help us out with like donations or anything, it helps go to funding our game and also us being able to bring you more awesome content.
Yeah, if you're loving what we're doing here, this is what we're trying to do it for, and we're excited to bring it if it's liked.
Exactly.
And if it's not liked, we're still happy to bring it.
We just bring it. That's what we do.
That's all we do.
No, and in regards to the streaming, we'll have more announcements about the scheduling of those as we get closer to rolling that out. But I did want to add that for me, I'm not super great with social media. So if you are interested in interacting or being able to chat with me when I do get the stream rolling, that's going to be the place for me to interact with you. That'll probably be the easiest spot for me to keep up with people. So,
and he answers all the intimate questions. I've asked him so many things on there that I just didn't want to know, but I was joking and he answered, and now I know about his personal life, which is unfortunate.
Yep.
And little did James know is that he did want to know them.
Yeah, it's like falling into a well. He's in the well now, and no one's gonna bring him a ladder. Ricky Tiki Timbo is not coming back out.
Yeah, Lassie's taking a break. All right, she's had it with your stuff.
Yeah, no, it's for sure. Like we're gonna get a little more personal. We want to make sure that people that are listening have access to us. We enjoy talking to people. We're all very social people here, and so we enjoy it. We enjoy people that. Yes.
Or plus, we have to play all these games before we podcast about them, anyways. So It just seems like, what are we not doing this for? We might as well do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you'll see my social medias, like James was saying, eventually. I like the background noise that I'm making right now, so enjoy that. I made it for just our Finnish listeners. That's for you. That background noise you just heard.
I barely heard it.
Oh,
is silence the official sound of Finland? What's this background noise?
Oh, that's offensive.
I hear water.
No, it's not.
I hear water.
He said there was a background noise.
Oh,
and
he was
there's
just
no
messing
noise
because there's a background noise.
Oh,
in the
there
house.
was a background noise, but apparently no one could hear it. I am not crazy. But no, so back to the streaming. Pumped to try and stream these games that we're playing and hopefully interact more with our listeners out there and
this year is going to be a good year.
Yeah, we're pumped about this year. Pumped about what we're doing with the podcast, with the game, with games revealed and everything else that we're doing. So it's going to be a good year. 2021.
The year of me playing horrible mods is going to be fun. I'm going to pack down like Fallout New Vegas with 20 mods and just see if I can destroy my system and my mind.
Oh my gosh. Turn it into garbage.
And I'm gonna say it again just because we really do appreciate it. But thank you to our Finnish listeners. The support means a lot to us. We're always looking to see if we're still being listened to and if we're growing. And we've noticed that you guys are out there listening. So thank you so much. It means a lot.
8% of our audience right now is Finnish, and that is awesome. So it's definitely a special shout out for you guys.
Yeah.
And gals.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Shout out to y'all and shout out to everyone else. All the other ones that are 1% and 2%ers and are, the big one that's our major one, America. We appreciate you guys too, but not as much as our Finnish listeners. I learned some Finnish for them.
Yeah.
I've been learning English in America that are listening. Thank you.
Yeah. Let's not discount it. There could be a lot more. Thank you guys for listening. You
I'm
guys,
not good at math.
We've noticed that we've been growing every month, and we're still here because we have listeners still. Like we're growing, and we enjoy that. And thank you guys for listening.
Yeah,
a special thank you.
Yeah,
and we'll continue to bring great content. We'll have just keep an eye on our social media, which is Revealed Games on Twitch, or not Twitch, but Twitter, and Games Revealed, I think, on Facebook. Those are the two that we really do, but we'll be getting more into the YouTube and Twitch stuff too, and we'll have videos. We'll eventually start streaming this podcast so you can watch it live, and we're going to have fun this year. This is going to be a fun year, and this is a year for you guys.
Oh yeah. Look forward to seeing you guys virtually.
So anything else, any other rumors, any other fun stuff, anything we're working on? We're not going to reveal too much of the game we've been working on. It's still in very early early development, but we're having a fun time. It is fun just working with games. I will say that.
Yep.
It's going to be the next No Man's Sky / Cyberpunk.
Oh no.
Nope. I think that wraps it up.
Well, let me drop 3 quick ones on you that we're not going to talk about them, but I am excited for these. So Nier Replicant, which is a remake of the old Nier game, but the Japanese release version, which has some slightly different story modes. Hogwarts Legacy, which is weirdly looks fun. Like, I don't care about existing IPs from movies and stuff, but the game looks fun. I'm excited about it. And then Elden Ring, which is a RPG style game that George R.R. Martin is in cahoots with. So those are all really interesting games also to keep an eye out for, and we'll just tack those on at the end here.
Yeah, those do look like good games. I liked Nier. And Hogwarts, I enjoy Harry Potter, but that one looks like a killer game.
It does not look bad.
It definitely looks like the fans should be happy about that. So, well, with that being said, this has been a great podcast. This is going to be a great year. Thank you guys for listening. And you guys keep it classy, I guess, for the rest of the year. 2021 is going to be awesome.
I'm going to say my Finnish word now, and I'm going to murder it. Jahavaitset
Oh, there we go. And what does that mean?
It means farewell. Hopefully,
Ooh.
it might mean like "F you, Finland." Hopefully, Google Translate's not messing with me. But that was the one I dared even try, because a lot of the other ones, once I started adding words, I don't know if I could have done it.
Well, thank you for that.
It took
last
hours.
note on the
It
podcast.
took hours.
You know what? And please,
Oh my
please,
gosh.
please critique how he said that.
Yeah,
I mean,
have
just
I
give
said-
it to him. Just give it to him. Lay into him.
We're gonna make a Reddit sub.
Oh my gosh, we already have one, but I don't use it. Okay, guys, this has been the Games Revealed podcast. This is James.
I'm Tyson.
And this is Shagwa.
Peace out, guys.
Yeah, have I said?
Hey everyone, this is James here, just here to promote some awesome merch. You can check out one of our best items, which is the Bunny Bitten hat, at shop.bunnystrike.com. Or you can find a link on our website at gamesrevealed.com. You can also check out quizzes, articles, and additional podcasts there. And you can also add to the discussion. So if you have something to add about the, let's say, the podcast, whether you liked it, didn't like it, or what your thoughts on the game are, please go there and just make a comment. We definitely love positive feedback, but if you have some constructive feedback, please leave it. You can find links also in the description of the podcast. So what are you waiting for? Get going to one of the best up and coming websites that has new features every week. Okay, catch you guys later.